the best places for Muslims in the West to go are going to be Malaysia, Turkey, Qatar, maybe UAE.
Mais Turkey, the problem, I've been there several times.
The language.
The language and also the practice is different. The practice of Islam is different. When you pray in Turkey, you feel alone. It's totally different than praying.
Really?
Yeah. I've been several times in Istanbul, Antalya.
That's weird.
And it's I don't know why there's so much difference, because they are far from us, really far, and they pray like us. But in Turkey there have been some change. I don't know why. But it's really strange.
Yeah, I noticed when I went to...
You've been there already?
I've been to Turkey 10 years ago. We didn't go to the... We went to the Masjid as just to see Hagia Sophia Blue Mosque. We prayed Salah there.
Yeah.
And the Blue Mosque, it seemed fine. I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Next time you go, you will see.
I wasn't observant. I think I'll be more observant.
So how's the Muslim community in the state now?
In America?
In America.
It's amazing. What I like about the Muslim community
Is it like
in America...
spending or...
Huh?
Is it like spending?
Spending? Like what?
Spending. I mean, people converting to Islam, you know.
I think, yeah, people are converting. People are reverting. I like to use a revert.
Revert.
Left and right. And the reason is because people are seeing that Islam fulfills me. It is the answer to all the things that were in the back of my mind. The questions that I have were never answered until I came across Islam. It's like it completes people. And this is what you hear again and again and again and again. And it's the same thing that the Sahaba said when they converted. The Sahaba are all converts. Islam, the beginning of Islam, they're converts. And the same thing, it's the same thing again and again and again. And you know what's funny? I was talking to somebody not too long ago, and the conversation basically was this: the more that Islam or Muslims are attacked, the more that we are attacked, Islamophobia, whatever you want to call it, you look different, you act different, I don't like what you believe, whatever it is, undermining us, downplaying us, the more we are attacked, the more people come to Islam.
That's true.
That is insane. I mean, what a terrible thing happening in Gaza, what a terrible thing. People are being murdered. 30, 40,000, I think the numbers are higher. I mean, we're just hearing 30,000. They don't have a full count. There also was a domino effect because they didn't die on a Friday, but because of this they'll die next Tuesday. You're not counting on it, right? So nobody knows it. We know the minimum is 30. We know the guaranteed number is 30 or 40, right? But how many people do you think entered Islam because of all of this?
Oh, a lot.
Probably I would say 10 times more worldwide.
You see a lot of video people converting to Islam because of this.
And those people, other people are hearing about them and they're becoming curious. Because the same reason I said in the beginning, people saying, it's okay, whatever happens, it's the will of God. I will do the right thing and whatever God's decision is going to happen. They are seeing people say that. And they've never seen it before.
So powerful.
It's beyond powerful. They can't even, it's above their thinking capacity when they see it. So I think that, you know, and what I love about American Muslims or Muslims in the West is that they don't grow up in Islam. So when you see a Muslim praying, when you see a Muslim going to Jummah, when you see a Muslim fasting, when you see a Muslim being a true Muslim brother or sister, they are not doing it out of a cultural norm necessarily. It could be, but not necessarily, because they have more of a freedom of outside to choose to do it, to be fair. So I think a lot of the best Muslims are in those places because it's not in the surrounding, but they go above and beyond to take those risks. So that's what I love about it. The West has other problems, I think, right now. That's a different conversation. But if you ask me that question, I think that a lot of people enter Islam because they see that, because it answers their question, because they feel more free and liberated. They feel more free being a Muslim and liberated and less judged. And that's the way it's supposed to be.
What means
you
know?
So what do you foresee, I mean, Islam in the United States next 5-10 years from now?
I think that I'm doing something, darling. I think where I see things in humanity in about 2 to 3 years is is a very interesting place. I think that very interesting things are going to be happening in Jerusalem, in Palestine, and I think that people are waking up. They're seeing what's really happening. The international community, Muslims, non-Muslims together, they're seeing it's a real human issue. I think there's going to be some liberation and freedom there for about a little time, but then it might just backfire on us. I don't know. Well, I hope it doesn't, but it will. Probably it may well do that. And because of that, I see Muslims doing two things. I see many of them saying, "Oh, I'm a Muslim because my father's a Muslim." And I see one side like that, and I see another side saying, I am Muslim because this is God's will, this is the way it's meant to be. And I see two divisions, I don't see a gap in between. And I think that's going to cause a real problem. I think that's going to cause a very big problem because there's no balance. And there'll be one side which is going to be right, and there'll be another side that has a state of mass confusion that are going to think that they're right, and they're going to be like sheep, and they're going to be following anything left and right. And I see another side kind of halting and saying, wait a second, you know? So I do see some strife. I do see some strife. The way things are going right now, if you look at the countries that many of these impoverished countries that have civil war, fighting, fitna, these are Muslim majority countries. And whose fault is that? I mean, you can go back in history. At the end of the day, you got to accept blame for yourself. At the end of the day. But there's a lot of the West has to blame for that. You know, with occupation, corruption, stealing resources. And Muslim countries have resources. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, what's funny is that you look at, you know, the state of Israel, but then you look at everywhere near Israel, everyone's got oil. Why does Israel have oil? Is that weird? They don't even have enough oil for you to take out and comb your hair with. But I guarantee you, if the occupation is done, I'm telling you, I got a feeling the next day they're going to find oil. I'm telling you, something's happening. In fact, that they're saying that there is oil in Gaza, and near that thing, and that's why they're trying to go in. And you know, there's a lot. The strip is very valuable. It's a strip, and it goes right to the Suez Canal. That's $9 billion a year, cash, not borrowed money, cash, a year. That's $9 billion a year. That's interesting. That I can finance $100 billion off of if I wanted to, right? Because I can go to a bank and finance off of it, leverage it. So there's a lot of reasons why that's happening, but I think that basically, in a nutshell, I see strife happening because there's going to be too much of a divide between one group over another. I see a lot of division happening. People will say, well, I want to be this way, I want to be that way because it makes me feel good, and that must be the right way. When there's less control of things, less logic over things. That's what I think. You know, I think there's going to be some problems in 5-10 years overall. But it might seem good to some people. It might seem that there's no problems. It might seem like we're doing great, that we're exceeding, we're excelling. I think it's going to be a lie. I think it's a farce, a mask. There's going to be a lot of that going on. I can see that happen. But things are getting worse. But they're telling you things are getting better. That's what I think. Yeah.
Is this? Sing to it.
I should.